Good morning, children. We will start with the syllabus of second term, Standard 7 History. I am going to teach you chapter 7 of History, Life under the Delhi Sultanate. The Sultanate saw changes in different areas, in different cultures. It saw the development in society, development in art, development in architecture, development in language and literature, and a wide development and change are forming a composite culture. Children, let me tell you the meaning of composite culture. Composite culture is a heterogeneous mixture of multiple cultures which meet and coexist with forming one single religion in a particular region. So you can say, as Hindu and Islam were two different cultures, together they formed one composite culture. That is why our country India is a birthland of dozens of different kinds of culture, which makes India a composite culture land. During the Delhi Sultanate, the administration saw different changes. The head was the Sultan, who holded all the kinds of judicial powers. The Wazir was the Prime Minister of the Sultan. Finance Ministry was held by Diwan. The Qazi played the role of the Chief Justice, and the taxes were paid in the form of jazia and the zakat. Moving on next, showing you the social and the cultural life. The society formed and saw different four subcastes. First was the aristocracy, under them priest, the town dwellers, or you may say the town people, and below them were the peasants. The aristocracy was the head, or you can say was the first class, which consisted of the Sultan and the nobles. The Hindu Rajas, the prince, the princess and the landlords all formed a part of the aristocracy. Moving on next, the priest. The priest consisted of the ulemas, the Maulvis, the Qazis and the Brahmins. Next, the town people consisted of the officers, the artisans, craftsmen, merchants, slaves. That is, the people who underwent different kinds of occupations to earn their livelihood with the town people. Moving on next is the peasants, or you may say the farmers. The life of the peasants was one of the hard work under the poverty. So this is the four important subcaste of the society under the Delhi Sultanate: aristocracy, priest, town dweller. Now let us observe the position of women in the Delhi Sultanate. The caste system was the main feature. Intercaste marriages were observed. The parda system prevailed. Widow remarriages, although was a part of the system but was not practiced. The sati and the dowry system prevailed among the Hindus. That means the women did not get the equal position as that of the men. Moving on next, the economic life. Agriculture was the main occupation practiced. Other than that, weaving and textile were few more industries. Paper making was introduced by the Turks. The sugar industry, the paper industry, metal working industry were the other minor industries under the economic life. Let us continue with the language and the literature part. The highly spoken language was Urdu, but the language which was used by the poets, the authors, you may say it as an intelligence language, was the Sanskrit. Translated books were Mahabharatas, Purana and the Gita. Other literary languages used were Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu and other minor languages. Moving on next to the literary works which could be seen during the Sultanate time. The Hindi poems like the Prithviraj Raso was a very briefly and widely used poem. It was very famous among the Hindus as well as the Islamic people. The Persian writers like Amir Khusro also was a well-known poet. Amir Khusro wrote many Hindu themes poems in Persian languages. The famous Padmavat was wrote in Hindi by Malik Muhammad Jaisi. Moving on next to our art and architecture part. The art and architecture saw a beautiful blender and mixture between Indian and Islamic style. The Sultanate introduced two new architectural ideas, the dome idea and the pointed arc idea. The dome was an important decorative structure in Islamic buildings and soon was implemented in many other structures as well. The pointed or true arc that was introduced during this period was completely different from the types of arcs that were being constructed within the country. Here, let me show you the beautiful dome shape. This is the dome shape and these are the side arcs. Moving on next, the painting and the music blender. Paintings, different kinds were introduced, the miniature paintings, the manuscripts, portrait paintings, and also the art of paper making was seen during this period. In the music style, it saw a different blender using the Persian and the Arab style. The sitar, tabla and the sarangi were the important musical instruments, and you can see Kathak was the new dance form which combined the Hindu themes with the Persian costumes. So here we come to the end of the chapter. I hope you understand the chapter easily. Read the chapter and go through the important points of the video. Thank you, children.